When I discuss my highlights, I'm going to be doing it on a weekly basis, and we're going to discuss each highlight during each of the weeks. There are 4 weeks in total. This is week number 1. Let me talk to you about my first 28-day nature driving course here at Quappa Camp, African Guide Academy. After spending the first 2 weeks settling in and getting to learn how the place operates, and I'll talk to you about how we run our courses here and some highlights of what I experienced with first 11 and then later 13 students here at Quappa Camp. The first thing I want to talk about is meeting the instructors, JC, Huffy and Richard. It was an honor and privilege to watch local Botswana guide and teach in this beautiful Botswanan wilderness. It is part of the Okavango Delta, but it's in the southern part of it, which means it's part of this semi-desert or semi-arid region. So it's not quite what you expect when you think of the Okavango Delta, but do not underestimate that. There is an abundance of game and there is a lot of activity, and you'll see as I go through this list, there is a lot. I had to write a list. I couldn't remember everything from memory. It's been 4 weeks and it's been absolutely incredible. Let's first talk about meeting our students. We had Ronit, Michael, Guy, Anne, Scout, Kaylee, Manuel, Bernard, Don, Monica, and our sponsored student Tuff. And they all come from different walks of life, all have different levels of experience with the bush and different life paths, and it's wonderful to see them grow in such a magnificent part of nature. During our first week, we were able to witness 5 wild dog kills in camp, one of which happened right after we arrived from an evening drive. It happened right there by the fireplace. I'll have to use cell phone footage because honestly, I had my camera on with a long lens and I wanted to be close to the action and also make sure nobody got hurt. We went on a botany walk in which we identified as many types of vegetation as possible, and then we discussed their role within the ecosystem and how important they are, different types of photosynthesis. During that walk, we got a radio call and we jumped on the vehicle and we were able then to witness the pride of young female lion who are in beautiful condition, and the one matriarch and 3 younger females. They were attempting to stalk some buffalo and zebra. They weren't successful, but we got to sit and watch them in action. For the first time, the group got to experience a leopard I like to call Grumpy Guts, only because he likes to scavenge off carcasses, which is really uncharacteristic for leopard, but also he likes to charge the vehicle. So that was quite an interesting thing to experience with the students. He's a beautiful cat, but he's a little bit different. Began shooting and putting together Tuff's reels for the first time. I feel like they're getting better and better, and I'm very happy to promote a young Motswana who's going to be the future of guiding in Botswana. An honor and a privilege. Got to see Quappa female for the first time. She's very famous here at camp. She likes to drink from the water fountain. She's produced 4 beautiful cubs that she's taught to drink from our bird fountain here. And it's fantastic to see any leopard, but this one is particularly special because she shares quite a lot of history with this place. We then discovered an elephant carcass. We're not sure how it died. It's never a nice thing to see a dead elephant, but that's not where the story ends. From there, we got to see the circle of life in action. We saw that the story didn't end. This carcass was able to feed a range of spotted hyena, lappet-faced vulture, whiteback vulture, blackback jackal, and then we later saw our cat Grumpy Guts, who was scavenging there for the first time, and he actually charged the vehicle twice that day. So although it's a sad thing to witness a dead animal, we have to remember that this is the way nature works and that nothing will go to waste and everything will be used, and it's not the end of the story. Later on, we went to Hidden Lagoon and we were lucky enough to have 3 elephant bulls come and join us at the watering hole. So that was just week 1. Now let's discuss week 2. We witnessed the deterioration of the elephant carcass. The activity dipped. We had less and less scavengers there, but that's to be expected. For the first time after my training, I got to sit in the tracker's seat, and it's exhilarating to feel the sun and wind in your face and to be able to track the animals that you've learned so much about. We then got to experience a large breeding herd of elephant at Batalia. And the one thing I do love about experiencing elephant here at Quappa is that whenever you come across a breeding herd, you'll always see a large amount of calves elephants in wonderful condition, and we watched them bathe, we watched them drinking, we saw the young ones playing together, so that's always very special. We later came across our small pride of lion. We were told that they have cubs. We were unfortunate enough to see them, but they know they're out there, and hopefully in the future we can bring them footage of these young cubs. We experienced a couple of wild dog chases, one of which ended up in them coming across some buffalo that they weren't really sure what to do with. It was very interesting to watch their interaction. They realized that these animals hold and carry a lot of meat, but they knew they had no chance of actually hunting them. So it was really fun and interesting to watch that interaction. We saw our wild dog puppies for the first time, and they are so cute and naughty, and they have so much personality. And one of the really unique and special things about being here at Quappa Camp is that one of our packs have up to 19 puppies that we counted, which is unbelievable, and a hard thing to describe what it feels like to witness. We went to Kudum for the first time with the students, and this was special because for years before this, Kudum Channel has been completely dry and there's been no water in it. So for the first time in years, there's water there, which brings with it an abundance of life, specifically birds. But then we saw tesserae, we've seen impala, now there's even a few hippos living there in Kudum Channel, where before it was just barren, open grassland, a bit of a divot in the soil with nothing really happening there. With the end of the second week, we had to say goodbye to 3 of our students. Ronit, Michael and Guy. Michael and Guy successfully completed their Fugaza examination before they left, so that was special. Ronit here was an enrichment student, so she didn't write, but it's always sad to see students leave, and we wish them the best of luck. We know we will maybe be seeing Michael and Ronit again. It's possible Guy might join us for a trails course, but I'm not sure. I then witnessed a young male leopard for the first time, called Pretty Tree Boy, only because the first time we saw him, he was lying in a tree. We saw signs that he was in the area the day before with some impala in the tree, but we didn't see him. About 20 meters away from his position, we saw him sitting in a tree, and he was just very calmly sitting there witnessing us, watching us. As much as you think it would be a fairly common sight to see a leopard in a tree, while I've been here, it's not something that's been all that common. In fact, it's the only time I've witnessed him in a tree. Every other time I've seen leopard, they've been walking out in the veld or sitting on a termite mound, but never actually in a tree like you would expect. Let's discuss week 3. With week 3, although we had to say goodbye to 3 students, we welcomed another 5 new students, of which were David, Letsogo, Liv, Jenna, and Lucas. With their arrival, we actually got a hippo in our watering hole behind me. We then discovered that the wild dogs had moved their den somewhere near Hidden Lagoon, which was nice because they were closer to camp, but it was also a little bit concerning because at some point we had our pride of female lions investigating the area, and they actually were running at them and trying to intimidate them and show their power and dominance over them. Luckily, nothing actually happened that we witnessed, and it seems like no dogs were killed or hurt. But the females wanted the dogs to know that they were there, and they were not impressed with them being there. We then got to experience some wild dog during one of our breakfast stops. We had stopped for maybe 2 minutes, and then all these wild dogs came and were around us and just hanging out with us and were very curious about us, but obviously nothing happened. It's always really special to be able to experience wild dogs on foot that close. They were maybe 10, 20 meters away from us, trying to work out what we were doing. I don't think they saw us as a threat. I think they were just curious about us. A little bit later on, we then had elephants join us at that same site. So they weren't as happy with the wild dogs as we were. In fact, the matriarch got a little bit cross and was chasing one of the dogs around. So that was quite interesting to watch. Later on, we then saw Quappa female, and she was eating a mongoose sitting on a termite mound. From there, we got to see her eye that's not in great condition. Despite that, she's in excellent condition and thriving, and it's wonderful to see a cat that shared so much history with this place and actually helped produce 4 cats that are around in this area. And now onto our final week. Our students were preparing and wrote their Fugaza exams. So with that, that meant that we had our enrichment students that didn't have anything to do. This provided me an opportunity to take them on 2 drives, and then later act as a backup when we went on a walk. And then luckily I had my camera in hand, I was on the vehicle, and we were able to witness a wild dog kill right outside of camp, a couple of 100 meters away, right before we went back into camp for the night. Later on, our wild dogs, with all their puppies still in good condition and alive, managed to move their den location about 400 meters southwest of camp. So then we got to go and witness the puppies on one of the drives that I conducted, which was fantastic. We were a healthy distance away, and we got to watch these dogs playing and interacting and looking quite comfortable. It's really quite special that they are so relaxed and are thriving, with about 35, 36 adults and 19 puppies, which means there's an alpha male and at least 2 breeding females. Another thing we got to experience was about 50 chacma baboons, at least 2 or 3 troops interacting with each other near Hidden Lagoon, which was quite a sight to behold. Because it was the end of the 28-day course, we had our farewell dinner and drinks where we got to say goodbye to our students. And it being the final week of our 28-day course, our students wrote their Fugaza exam, 9 of whom wrote, and part of that was that I actually helped them mark, because we wanted to ensure that we could give the students their results before they left. We were even able to give them certificates of attendance before they boarded their plane. So that's just a breakdown of what happened here in the last month, and my hope is that you get a better understanding of how this place operates, how we look after our students, how we are doing our part to help towards conservation and preserving this place, and the importance of places like this. So if you would like to hear and see more, watch out for more videos on our YouTube channel, and I will be creating these videos once a month, and I look forward to seeing you and letting you know what's been happening here at Quappa Camp. But have a wonderful day.